What's up, Saints and Aints? Welcome back to another episode of the Music and Makeup Podcast. This episode, I'm taking it back and sharing some of my favorite music from the New Jack Swing era. And on the makeup, I'm doing an early 90s inspired look. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So I know in the teasers I said that I was going to use the Morphe Gilded Desert palette for my eyeshadow today, but I decided after looking at a few of the early 90s makeup looks to go with my Pat McGrath Mothership 5 palette because it has this purple that I really want to use. I'm going to prime my lid using the Danessa Myrics Lift and Flex concealer, and this is in the shade 14. I'm just gonna put this on top of my lid here. I'm just gonna pat this in to my lid. And to apply the shadow, I'm gonna use the My Kitco, my small shadow brush. It's the 1.5. So now I'm going to blend some of the edges out with this shade here. It's like a darker brown. So what is New Jack Swing? New Jack Swing is a fusion of R&B and hip hop. It emerged, I'll say, in the late 1980s. I say, like, from what I was looking at is when I was doing the background on this episode, probably like 1988, 87 is when you could say you could really start seeing the genre emerge. And it was so groundbreaking at the time because it was two genres that really did not cross. Teddy Riley is the king of New Jack Swing. If you look at a lot of the music around that time and before, he is in those production credits heavy. One of the defining features of his music is the introduction of swing beats, which can be found heavily across this genre. Next up is Foundation, and we're going to jump into some of my favorite songs from this era. Number one is Teddy's Jam by Guy, and Guy consisted of Teddy Riley, Aaron Hall, and Timmy Gatlin. So Teddy Riley and Timmy Gatlin, they already had a relationship through the previous group that they were in called Kids at Work. When that group broke up, Gene Griffin, who was the founder of the Sounds of New York record label, offered Timmy a group deal. So Timmy recruited Aaron Hall, one of his co-workers that also sang in the choir, and they added Teddy Riley, who by this point was making a name for himself as a producer for other projects, most notably Dougie Fresh's The Show. Together they formed the group Guy. When I think of New Jack Swing, Teddy's Jam is like the very first song that comes to mind. This was a single off of Guy's debut album that was released in 1988. So it's no secret that this song isn't really like a song per se. It is an instrumental. It is like what the title says it is, a jam session, because Old Jam and Teddy Jam for me are really like, and Dum Dum Diddy are really like the only real words to this song. But I'm gonna tell you what, Aaron Hall sang the hell out of them words. I was young when this song dropped, so I truly wonder what it was like when this went off in the club, because Lord knows me and my little sister did enough dance routine / talent shows in our bedroom to this song. So I just can only imagine how hard the real grown folks was dancing when this came out. All right, so another song I love from this era is Keith Sweat's I Want Her. He's another one who had a run during the New Jack Swing era, and I know because Lord knows my mama loves her some Keith Sweat, and his music certainly got played around our house. Now, my daddy did not feel the same way. He always felt like Keith Sweat did more whining than singing, but my mama didn't care. It was getting played. This feels like peak club music for the 80s, because I remember my older cousin was also a Keith Sweat fan, and I just wonder what it was like to be grown at this time, because I was still like 8-9 years old. I just know y'all was in the club partying off this. This, of course, too, was produced by Teddy Riley. You gotta give the man his due. He certainly pioneered the sound because he was everywhere. For foundation, I'm actually going to use Danessa Myrics Yummy Skin Tint, and this is in the shade 14. Another song that I really like from this time period is New Jack Swing from Rex in Effect, and this song was a single from off of their debut album called Rex in Effect. What I remember most about this song, if anything, is the video, namely the airbrush jackets that they had on, because during that time airbrushed art was like a big part of fashion, and design sometimes got really intricate. So it was definitely a statement to have like an airbrush, especially a jacket back then. And the video featured cameos from Aaron Hall, Heavy D and the Boys, Redhead, Kingpin, Al B. Sure, Keith Sweat, Kool Moe Dee, a little bit of everybody. And another thing was the dancing. And this was at a time where like people would go and make up dance routines to have dance battles or whatever. And people like really put time into it, like coordinated outfits, all of that. And that's reflected in this video. That's one thing I love about like the late 80s and early 90s. It was just a common thing in a party, I would say, to dance. And I'm talking about full-on routine. And I know that might seem very extra for now, but just go back and watch the video for this song. So now I'm going to go in with my blush. I'm going to use the Pat McGrath cream blush, and this is in the shade Forbidden Fleur. Love this shade. It's a nice rich plum. What I did notice as far as it goes for makeup from like that time period, lots of like rich plums, berries. I was looking at like an old Florrie Roberts ad, lots of violets and purples, which I think purples look wonderful on dark skin, so I'm here for it. But this is what that looks like. I just apply my blush in this area here, and it's gonna blend out. This is buildable, but I find that this is just enough for me. Another song that I love is My Prerogative by Bobby Brown. This song was off of his second album, Don't Be Cruel, which was produced by Teddy Riley. And when I tell y'all, this song was everywhere. I have so many memories standing in front of the TV, watching MTV, trying to learn the choreography from this video. I really liked it because it spoke to, even at that young age, my desire for people to just leave me alone and let me do my thing. And the video for this just went crazy. He had the ladies playing the guitar and the saxophone. He had the headset, the all black outfit, them hard bottom shoes. We used to call them Bobby Brown shoes. He had the sloped haircut, which I think we was calling that the Bobby Brown slope too. But he was giving you A1 choreography with that headset, and you gotta give Bobby his ones. I call him the king of R&B because I lived through this particular era, and I just remember the pandemonium and all of the excitement about him. To me, he's the king of R&B, and I don't want to hear nothing else about it. I also remember during this song, he was doing like some of the most wildest pelvic thrusts known to man, getting himself in all kinds of trouble. Speaking of live performances, like one of his most notable performances of this song was on February 4th in 1989 at Madison Square Garden. And I couldn't find any videos or pictures of this performance, but they said like he, instead of wearing like his all standard all black outfit for this number, he had a red boxing robe that said King of the Stage on the back. And then he had like a stage full of people. He had Joseph Simmons from Run DMC, LL Cool J, Heavy D, Eric B, KRS-One, LA Reid, Babyface. Even Teddy Riley came and he did like a big keyboard solo. I would love to see the footage or like the pictures from that night because I know they had it probably rocking in there. And I like when you have moments like that. That's what makes these concerts special. And the bridge too on this song was the best. That tell me why. Yeah, and it goes right into the guitar solo, the best. Another song I like from this era is We Got Our Own Thing by Heavy D and the Boys. This song was a single from Heavy D's second album, Big Time, which was also produced by Teddy Riley. This was another video that had me in front of the TV trying to learn the choreography. And some of the moves I think I did successfully learn, but not the entire video. And honey, don't be fooled. For a big guy, Hev could move. Another one too that was giving you choreography and fashion, because the looks in this video were just something else. It was also a polka dot era, so you see some of that reflected in here. And again, just so much dancing. That's the one thing about this time period. Dancing was like such a focal point of music videos and such an important part. That's where you learn like the latest dance trends and all of that. The title of this song becoming like a catchphrase in the black community. I know I saw it on enough t-shirts back in the day and bumper stickers too. But yeah, I remember this. This was definitely like de facto a little slogan in the community. I'm going to use the Pat McGrath Sublime Under Eye Powder in the shade Deep. Another song that I love from this era is from Johnny Kemp, and that's Just Got Paid. So do any of y'all have a song that y'all's parents used to call y'all downstairs to come over to sing whenever company would come over? This was my song. Now, did I just know the chorus? Sure. Did the adults get a kick out of it? Absolutely. It was my party trick. My mom would always call, say, come down here and sing your little song. Say Friday night just got paid. You know, black folks, we gonna change the title of the song. But yeah, that's what my mama calls it. And this song, of course, is produced by Teddy Riley, but initially it was supposed to go to Keith Sweat as like an instrumental. And Keith Sweat turned it down. Johnny Kim ended up singing like some vocals over it, but for another artist. That person didn't want it, and so they released it with his scratch vocals on it, and that is how we got Just Got Paid. I love these stories about how somebody turns something down that we can't imagine. Why would they turn that down? And I believe what is for you is for you, and that beat was meant for that person. After I use the pressed powder, I'm just going in with the Huda Beauty setting powder, and that's in the shade Cherry Blossom. But yeah, Just Got Paid. It is like the quintessential weekend anthem. It just captures that feeling of it being like payday, it's Friday, and the opportunities are endless. I'm gonna add some bronzer like around the perimeter of my face. I feel like that just kind of warms everything back up. And I like to go between these two right here. And that's the Juvia's Place bronzer in the shade Dark. Alright, so now that I have all my powders in place, I'm going to bring everything back to skin using the MAC Fix Plus setting spray. I spray mine into a puff because I don't want to crunch up my extensions. I just pat that in. Right, and another song that I like from this era is Ain't My Type of Hype by Full Force. Now, this is one that was not produced by Teddy Riley, but it was written and produced by Full Force. And this song was featured on the House Party soundtrack, which is one of my favorite movies from my childhood. The choreography was perfect, and they had this little animated character. So this was the first time I'd really seen animation and real life mixed together. Well, probably I've probably seen it before, but this was the first time in a music video. No, I'm wrong here too. I don't know if this was before or after Paula Abdul's video, Opposites Attract, but I know during that time, putting animation like in your music video with like the actual star was a thing. So it's time for my favorite part of my makeup routine, the lip combo. So today I'm gonna line my lips using my favorite MAC pencil, one of my favorites, Night Moth. Before I start, I'm gonna use a little translucent powder over my lips, and that's to just kind of give myself a flat base. And I'm just going to start with the Night Moth. Alright, so now I'm going to go in with the NYX Butter Gloss. I'm going to use the shade, I believe this is Praline. Yes, the little thing is off at the bottom, but this is Praline. I think this will be better suited for what we got going on here. Now I'm going to line the liner because y'all know I like a glossy look to my liner. I'm going to use this Juvia's Place liner in the shade Maroon. And since the applicator is really big, I'm going to use a pencil brush so I can have better control because I don't need that much. This is how big the applicator is. Alright, Saints and Aints, this is the final look. I love how everything came out. This lip combo is to die for, and so is the eyeshadow. Hope you enjoyed this 90s inspired look and learning more about the history of New Jack Swing. Until next time, Saints and Aints, love you. Bye.